you actually read the law the way USCIS talks about it, it's like wow, like you got to be a Nobel Prize or something like this, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they actually give this example like Grammy or Nobel, like what, you know. It's
All right. Hi, Stanislav. How are you doing?
I'm good, Omkar. Happy to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you. I really am happy that we are able to do this. I have been talking to Anna for a couple of weeks and we are able to finally schedule this. And I'm so excited that you have given your time to help a lot of students here. So that's really nice of you to do that. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Of course, you know, I've been waiting for this meeting also because the goal of my company is to bring 10,000 people by 2030 to the States, and we already accomplished about 20% of this goal. So maybe if we get a few people and help them from your side, that would be just amazing.
Absolutely. Anything I can do to help that?
I have 10 years experience in American jurisprudence. Among these 10 years, I've been running my own company for over 7 years. So it's 8 year. I've been doing this on my own. The size of my company is about 60 people at this
Wow.
time. I have 6 departments in my company. Each is responsible for its own function, and we have more than 1,500 approvals for all type of visas and talents and work visas and business visas and things like that. And the approval rate across all the visas in my company is probably already over 90%.
Okay.
And some visas we have 100% approval rate, like O1 visa, for example. You'll be surprised. We have zero denials for this type of visa, and I hope it stays like that. So it's probably better to start with the comparison of O1 visa and H1B visa. And why? Because O1 visa is much easier to get than EB1A, and it could be the first step for anybody who wants to ultimately immigrate in the States. So as you properly said, H1B visa, it's very popular among the Indians and Chinese people. However, there is a component of a lottery in this visa. So generally, overall, we have 25 to 30%, depending on education, who will be selected for this program. And this process takes place only once a year in March, right? So if in the first 3 weeks of March, a person was not filed by the future employer for the H1B visa lottery, that's it, right? That's it. So it's only one time a year, 25 to 30%, depending on education level. So not a great chance, to be honest, overall. And of course, if you miss that, you need to wait another year, and there is no guarantee you'll be selected again. So O1 visa is a great way for the same people who already have an education and at least bachelor's degree and maybe master's degree to start the immigration process. And why is that? Because O1 visa is a working visa for talented person, for extraordinary people, and this may sound a little bit too complicated and maybe unrealistic, but for 7, even more, almost 8 years of my own practice, and for hundreds of cases that we've done on O1 visa and other visas, I can tell you that O1 visa is not as hard as it could be seen when you first learn about the criteria, about these like publications like you mentioned and things like that. It's not that hard. So and there is no limit for how many visas are issued for O1 persons.
Okay.
It used to be around 20,000 visas a year before the COVID. Then it was a little bit lower, but now we're coming back to the same numbers. And it could be 20, it could be 30, it could be 40. It doesn't matter. The Congress did not limit how many visas could be issued. So this is advantage number one.
Okay.
Then we also have an employer, right? Because H1B cannot happen without an employer. So same thing with O1. So here we're on the same page, employer and employer. So we cannot go around. However, there is one exception on O1 visa where a company that's established by the talented person, by O1 petitioner, could play a role as an employer. So in other words, let's say you are a student from India, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're already working on you have some achievements in the field of your talent. You're like an IT person, cybersecurity person, you're an engineer. So you want to do something in the States, and you want to use your experience and your time to monetize it, to make money. You can open up a company here in the States, let's say here in Miami, in Florida, and then make that company your employer for the purpose of O1 visa. So basically, you will be playing two roles: as a shareholder of the company, the one who owns it, and the employee of this company, like working for this company.
Understood.
So this is a great way for those people who want to file for O1 visa and cannot find the employer for themselves. They can actually work for their own company. Isn't that great? Because H1B does not give this opportunity. You cannot open up your company and select yourself for the H1B lottery. This is just there's like some limited exceptions, but they don't apply for the general public. So this is second greatest advantage for O1 visa. Then O1 visa is granted for 3 years initially, up to 3 years, right? Same with the H1B. However, H1B has a limitation of 6 years altogether, right? Two terms by 3 years. O1 visa has a 3 years initial timing, and then 1 year additional for indefinite time. So you can extend it for indefinite time as long as you want. However, from my practice, usually within these 3 years, we find the ways how to switch from a work visa to the green card. And we'll talk about it later. Then EB1A comes into play, EB2 national interest waiver comes into play, and same EB2 and EB3, just a regular immigrant working visa, they also could be used for this purpose. So O1 visa is not only like competition to H1B. This is actually the visa that has some advantages over H1B visa. So what we need to prove in order to get O1 visa approved for the purpose of coming to the States. We already talked about employer. So we need to show that there is employer and what type of work we're going to do, and that there is some contractual relationships between the petitioner for O1A, the talented person, and the employer. Okay. So we also need to prove at least 3 criteria out of 8. So the talent in the immigration law is actually pretty tangible, right? Because if I say to you, Omkar, you're a talented person, right? And you'd be like, okay, Stanislav, how did you determine that? Like, how did you analyze me? Why you think I'm talented? And maybe like, I'd be like, so, well, you have a good YouTube channel, this and that. I'll start like coming up with something. No. USCIS Immigration Service says, okay, here is the 8 criteria. And if we prove 3 of them minimum, it could be 4, could be 5, the more the better, right? Then you will be deemed a talented person, right? So this is pretty tangible. So what we need to do? I wish that most of the people who are watching, they from STEM category. Yes. What is STEM? Is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right? Yes. Very important concept for the purpose of immigration. Very important, because people from these categories, STEM, they get more style points from immigration. Like they're more loyal to people like that. And I know that people from India, from China, most of them are in this category, right? Yes. Mathematicians,
all engineers, yes.
Engineers, the best engineers coming from India and China, or the best mathematicians come from these countries. And you guys may be competing from with people from my country, from Russia, a little bit, but I think you are very ahead. You're so much ahead of this. So there is no argument on that. So and this is great. This is great. Why? First of all, because people from STEM will get 3 years OPT, right? And you know what I'm talking about, right? Yes. So OPT is like internship that international student gets after he or she graduates the college or university, right? So 3 years is a lot of time. There's a huge shortage of very good engineers, of IT people, of cybersecurity people, of scientists, and people like that in the States. How I know that? Well, first of all, I work with the clients like that all day long. And second of all, my wife is an engineer, right? My wife is an electrical engineer, and she has the second master's in the cybersecurity. So she has like 2 educations from STEM that's like really close with each other. And I can tell you, Omkar, when she starts looking for a new employer, and she does it like every 2-3 years, which is normal in the States, and you know it, like she doesn't even post a resume online because there's people waiting just to grab her, because and the more experience she gets, the more valuable she becomes. So there's a huge shortage, and I know it from engineering side, from IT side, from cybersecurity side, and everything we talk about. So when you work for 3 years for an employer, and I know that people from Asia and just generally immigrants have a very high professional ethics, very high. You know, you know, myself, I'm an immigrant too, and everybody, we are working our asses off every day, right? Americans is not like that. Okay, at 9 to 5, boom, 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 check in, check out, that's it, no more. And OPT, and even if it's 1 year in other things like business administration and whatever it is, it's actually enough to work on those criteria for O1 visa to satisfy them, and having an employer, it would be a great petition to go for. So what we need, first of all, like you said, publications. I think this is a great way to start preparing for the O1 visa, and also establishing the ground zero for EB1A, because O1A evidence is going to be then translated to EB1A evidence. Yes, we're working for O1A, but we're thinking EB1 in our minds. How many publications I want? Well, give me at least 2. Give me at least 2. If you give me 4, it's good. Anything over 4 publications, scientific or academic publications, is great. And I think if we, again, STEM is probably the best way to implement that, because you're already doing this. You're already into engineering. You're already in IT. You're already into biology, geology, whatever that is. So it's easy to write those publications when you're a student, and maybe while you're working for someone else, you constantly get the knowledge, and by publications, you can extend it to the public. So this is a great thing to start. Second of all, working for the company that has a high reputation. And this could happen in a foreign country, like in China, in India, in Russia, in Brazil, doesn't really matter. If we work in a company that has a high reputation generally, nationally or internationally, or even in a small niche, right? So, for example, you Omkar, working in XYZ LLC, a company that's doing some type of coding, front and end coding for software. It's in Delaware. Nobody knows about it, but within the industry, people know, people appreciate, people know the quality of work. So that's already establishes the high reputation of the company, right? So if we have that company that's has this reputation in the States, in the world, or in the country where we're coming from, then we can close the second criteria, a critical or a leading role in such organization that's distinguished, that has a high reputation, right? So we can close just 2 criteria just by doing our regular day-to-day stuff, right? Just not even going overboard. And this is available pretty much to everyone. So the third criteria, the money. If you're a talented person, show me the money, right? The immigration services tells us. So if we work in the States, and if we have a bachelor's or master's degree or even higher, then of course we're going to make good money, especially in the STEM. But again, anything else in the beauty industry, business, culture, it doesn't really matter. Dances, paintings, whatever it is, we make money. So we can make a good argument that whatever money we make is higher than other professionals in the industry. And if we get the salary 20 to maybe 30% more than average in this profession, we can claim a significantly higher salary for this profession and close the third criteria. If we never worked in the States and we only coming to the States, then we also need to analyze the salary of the person, of the talented person who worked in a foreign company, and compare the level of salaries for this particular region, for this profession, right? So, for example, you from which region in India are you from, Omkar, or your parents?
I'm from Mumbai.
So let's say there is a cybersecurity professional in Mumbai, and he makes I don't know the level of salaries in India. Let's say $1,000. I think it would be probably higher than everybody else, right? So we will be able to make an argument. Hey, look, the average cybersecurity person makes 800 a month, and this particular person makes 1,000. So that's at least like 20% more than it is, and we can make an argument on that. And you can see that. Before O1 visa was like, oh my God, extraordinary person. But now it's like publications, role, and salary. We're already closing 3 criteria, which is basically enough. But we never stop here. We never stop with 3. We wanna prove as many criteria as possible. So what else could be what else could be counted? Awards and prizes. Let's say we take an IT person, and IT persons, they usually go to hackathons, like the competitions for people in the IT industry, and oftentimes we get the prizes from people from those competitions, from those events. The only caveat for this is to have this competition on a national level, so people from all over the country can compete, right? And the more prestigious the competition, the better for the purpose of EB1A in the future, for the green card. So sometimes we get the and for the scientists, for business people, they usually go to conferences, do the speeches, do some work, some publications, or maybe get published after the conference. This also could be an award or the prize for the purpose of O1 visa. For business people, alternative award could be an investment of at least $100,000 in their startup in the States.
Got it.
Right? So that could be also a prize for the purpose of O1 visa. So what else? I think the easiest criteria, and we already talked about 4, and you can see that not all of them are very hard. I think the easiest criterion for O1 and later for EB1A is the press about the beneficiary, about the O1 person. If you're a talented person, if you have some projects, if you have some achievements, it is always easy to find a journalist who will want to write about all this. For 7 years of filing these petitions, we never filed a single one without press about our client, right? So that, I think it's an evidence that's possible for everyone. So even without prizes, with press, we can close 4 criteria for our clients.
Understood.
What else? Let's see what else is easy and understandable. Some significant contribution to the field. This is the hard. If the press is the easiest, this one, the contribution is the hardest. Why? Because we need to prove innovation. It's new. It never happened before, and its significance for the industry. What could be examples of contribution? Patents, books, publications, by the way, could be contributions to the field. That's why it's so important to do them, because if there is a lot of citations for the publications, that could be the proof that it has significance for the field of the talent. Dissertation, for those who going for the upper level of education, dissertation in itself could be a contribution to the field, because it's new. You cannot write something old in a dissertation. It got to be innovation, and it could be available for the industry if we get some expert opinions on that. Also, the courses. Let's say the IT person has his own courses for C++, right? And Yeah, and he teaches that course, maybe in a university, maybe online, maybe offline, Lord knows. But if he does that, he contributes something to the industry, right? He creates new software developers and things like that. So it could be a bunch of things. Two things to remember: innovation and significance for the industry.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's also briefly discuss the rest of the criteria that we may also use. The judging the work of others. If someone or somewhat calls for our expert opinion to judge other professionals, it could be competition. It could be a review of publications or dissertations. It could be an opponent to someone defending their dissertation or their PhD status, things like that. It could be editor's board for a newspaper or for a journal or things like that. So when you use your skill to analyze work of other professionals, so that could be a separate criterion. And the last one that's worth mentioning is the membership in associations that accepts only for outstanding achievements. And in it could be other professional associations, or it could be some very top certification in the field. Let's say like Oracle certification or AWS certification, right? Because it gets extended examination, and then it's very hard to get those certifications. So they could be closing one of the criterions. So so you see that all this criteria that we use, and it's really easy to close 3 to 4, but usually 5 to 7.
Understood. That is very interesting, Stanislav. Nobody has ever like explained this so well as you just did, and that because I go online and I read it, and it is so intimidating. It scares me, to be honest. And I'm like, wow, like I have been in US for such a long time. I have a couple of degrees in US. I have 5-6 years of experience, but the way USCIS has written those things, they are very scary at times, and they can ask you a question like, have you really done anything?
Exactly.
But then if you sit down with someone who knows this, somebody like you, and just talk to them and ask them questions, I think it gives a lot of confidence. Because as you were talking, I was mentally checking how many things I have done of these. And I was like, wow, I've already done 7 or 8 things out of these.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I was like, why have I not ventured into this? And so I would love to talk to you after our call that, hey, how do I kind of like, get into this? I have last, question you asked, like member of association, or a professional certification. So a couple of questions I have regarding to that is like, you see, I work with a lot of civil engineers in US. So we have special certifications we have to go through, like licenses. So FE license or a professional engineering license, which are very hard to crack. So cracking these exams will also give you an advantage. I myself have a PMP license, which is project management professional license.
Yeah, we work with those licenses too. Yes.
So it's a certificate. So it's not easy to get, it's expensive to give the exam and qualify for that. So you're saying that these kind of things do qualify for one of those things you just talked about.
Definitely, yes. And I'm glad that you qualify for this criteria, because like you said, when you actually read the law, the way USCIS talks about it, it's like wow, like you gotta be a Nobel Prize or something like this.
And
they actually give this example like Grammy or Nobel, like what? It's but in reality, when you do, and we do hundreds of these, we specialize, right? We don't do like asylum, we don't do family petitions, we just do talents, business and investment, right? So that's all we do. That's why when I talk about these visas, you can feel that I basically like I'm giving you the experience, the years of experience with my clients, and how well we know these visas and how they work.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you didn't have to. I was surprised that you know all 8, 9 of them by heart, because I can see that you're doing this every day.
Every day, every night,
And
every
I have to, I was looking, I have that open on my screen because that's what my questions were going to be. But I myself did not know that. But I am so grateful that you went through every single one of them and you really explained it. I'll be honest with you. I have seen videos with other immigration lawyers, and I have seen videos with, I have seen Instagram posts or LinkedIn posts, other EB1 people who have gotten these, but even they have not been able to explain it as well as you have explained it. And you've actually given me confidence. And as a matter of fact, any master students coming to US, or like anyone coming to US, that they can also go for O1 visa or EB1A visa because they have confidence now after listening to you. So I am so excited that you took your time to explain this. And so how can people reach out?
I developed a unique process of going over the all these type of visas. Each visa gets its own process. And what I noticed, that there is like this invisible wall between attorneys and people, and it's like it's sometimes I think people don't go through this process because they kind of intimidated, like, oh my god, attorney, like law firm, and maybe like they don't know what's going on. We try to do everything to eliminate this invisible wall. What we did, I developed a special process. It's called a free evaluation of the case, right? So let's just take a step back. Like in the industry with attorneys, in order for the person who wants to come to the States to actually know if they qualify or not, they have to pay at least $300, $400 for the consultation to come to the attorney and to learn if they qualify or not. And if they're not, they kind of lost the money, and that's it. There's some kind of residue, like negative feeling after that.
Very true.
We try to eliminate that also. So what we did, develop this process of free evaluation. How it's done? We have about maybe up to 10 links for different programs: H1B, talent, business, investment, sport, all kind of things that our potential clients can fill out in a lot of details. Yes, you will spend 10 to 20 minutes filling out this application because it's very detailed. But I will analyze it and I will get back to you within 48 hours and give you the analysis of what's going on with the case. If I think it's good, if I think it's not good, if certain things could be strengthened or maybe not. And if I see the potential in this case, then I will invite that person to, I call it immigration planning. So immigration planning, that's when you have to pay, and that's where I build the exact strategy of filing the petition, right? So this is the second step. And then if everything is good, we sign the contract, and let's go. 6 months, we'll be done with the petition and filing it with the USCIS. So all these links are going to be below this video. So whoever wants to assess how good they are, whether they have good achievements or the employer or whatever it is, there's a unique opportunity to get it for free using your Omkar and your videos and your YouTube channel.
Absolutely. Thank you.